Hello, folks! Welcome back to another Airshow weekend. Today is Friday in Sim, and we're flying at the Batumi Shoreline, which is the second place we ever flew as a duo here, as opposing solos. So we're just taking a trip down memory lane. I don't know what's going to be next, but actually, next would be Damascus if we were going to take a trip down memory lane. But for now, we'll do the Batumi shoreline, and let's get into the briefing with a weather briefing.
Yeah, so we're flying to the Batumi shoreline. This is a weather briefing from the Batumi International Airport on March 20th at 1300 Zulu, which is, let me do the quick math here. I don't think that's actually 1300 Zulu. I think it was earlier than that. But anyway, it'll be roughly 1700 local, so about 5 o'clock, which is not quite what it is in the mission time, but close enough for horseshoes and hand grenades. Wind is 240 for 6 knots. But as you can see in the mission, it's a 1 meter per second at ground level. 240 though still. So do with that what you will. Visibility is good, 6 statute miles. There's not actually light rain, and then clouds broken layer at 034, which is 3,400. Temperature is 5 degrees Celsius. Dew point is 3 degrees, and altimeter is 3020. At Batumi, it will not be that at our takeoff field at Kobuleti, so we'll have to check that when we get in the jets.
Yeah, we'll fly right. So a little bit of a briefing. We'll fly right out off the field, so no need to change the barrel alt.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll just leave it as is for sea level, because that's how DCS does it. It sets it auto for MSL or
Mm-hmm.
for ASL.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, so it's going to be left out of the chocks to line up. I think we'll have enough time, depending on where you put us, to do rolling solo brief to line up and wait on the runway.
Mm-hmm.
At which point we'll do a no flap lower go takeoff. You'll form up on my right. When we hit the shoreline, we'll take a left turn to the crowd left heading, and then we will ingress towards the show site. At about 8.5-ish miles, it has become. I'll take a fairly sharp left to take us into the show box. As we roll out, it'll be smoke on, and we'll set up for the head-on. We'll be doing a flat show today, at least to start with. We'll make the assessment when we get over the field based upon everything we're looking at when we get in there. If it's looking marginal, we'll probably send you up for the sneak to vertical rolls.
Okay.
Just to get a sense of the cloud cover, and we'll make a determination then as well as to whether we continue with the flat show, low show, or high show.
So we're assuming flat show to start, and then we'll go low show if it looks like it's possible.
Correct. We're assuming flat show start. We'll go low show on the clear. I'll make the determination on the clear for the inverted for the opposing knife edge as to whether we
Got it.
switch low show. Realistically, it doesn't affect us until the horizontal rolls.
I mean, I have the dedication pass instead of my
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah,
dedication pass, and we don't go
Fortis.
the Fortis.
Yep.
So you are going to want to make sure you know by the end of the
I'm gonna make the call at the end of the knife edge. If we end up going low show, for horizontal rolls, it still will. Regardless of whether we do flat show or low show, I can make a game day call on whether we go up for the horizontal rolls. And
Yep.
the communication for that is I'll call in the horizontal rolls. You'll repeat, and I'll say, "Let's take it up, Leb," and that'll be the
Okay.
indication that we're
And
not
if you
going up. And if
that
I
we
don't say anything, then like try to get me to clarify.
uh-huh. So the call for a flat show clear is behind the crowd clears.
Yes.
The call for a low show or high show would be let's take it up.
Would be nothing unless we're already doing a flat show in which case
Mhm.
I will tell you, let's take it up.
Got it. Sounds good.
So I will call a deviation from the standard of whatever that standard is for what we're doing.
Hmm. Sounds good.
Okay. Ba-ba-doo-ba-dee. Keeping my headset awake. Other things to talk about. The MRT has been ending high, about
Hmm.
1300 on my tests. So
Okay.
just keep that in mind. And also, I get going real fast by the time we roll out for that behind the crowd.
Got it.
um, so also for the opposing MRT, for the clear for the MRT, there's going to be a little climb in that clear, and we're going to have to drop down into it. For the opposing MRT, we're going to go right over those smokestacks behind the crowd.
Got it.
And it's going to be a little bit of a dip, so I might have to hand it to you a little late because we have to avoid a hill.
Hmm. I am comfortable with you handing it to me as late as the smoke off.
All right.
So do what you got to do.
Yeah. It may
It's
be.
honestly probably easier for me if you do it that late instead of doing it somewhere in the middle, and then I gotta like level nose low attitude or something.
What I will do is I'll make sure that we're wings level, and I'll make sure we're wings level if I'm going to hand you lead.
Sounds good.
So we're not going to be at some funky angle. Um, okay. Opposing infantry is probably going to start high, so we might have to drop into it around the turn. But that should feel fairly natural to us at this point.
Hmm.
Remember, flat show. So, okay, watching reference shows, flat show is 10 degrees with 1.5 rolls.
Sounds good.
So, I will call, do whatever I call, but I'm going to intend
Hmm.
for 10 degrees. That's the briefed
Sounds good.
thing. Aside from that, I have not practiced a flat show here. So, as far as I'm aware, there's nothing else really funky that's going to need to happen. Um, if we end up doing the delta roll, which is fairly unlikely, because that would mean
Hmm.
we'd be doing a low show, but if we end up doing the delta roll, the behind the crowd is quite a climb, because we have to once again drop down over the hills. Um, but aside from that, oh
If
right,
we,
okay. So briefing, yeah. So briefing the end of the show. If we end up doing the delta breakout, which means a low show or higher, it'll be a right turn out of the delta breakout for a crowd left to crowd right flat pass. If we do not do the delta breakout, it's on your lead to take us back to the field after we do the overhead.
okay, so if we do a breakout, it'll be right turn for the line abreast flat pass or
Hmm.
the delta flat pass. And if it's an overhead pass, I will just come left behind crowd and go back to Kobaletti.
Yeah, I suggest getting offshore,
Yeah,
because the turn back to the fields otherwise is very short.
got it.
So,
Yep.
um, also, I don't know if you did this. Uh, I ended up setting waypoint 2 as center point at Kobaletti, but if you didn't, just use waypoint 0 as your reference.
Yeah, I don't think I did set waypoint 2,
That's
but
fine.
yeah, I'll just use waypoint 0.
Yep.
Yep.
But after you level us out, like after you level us out after that left turn behind the crowd to take us home, um, call me well clear so that we can do arrival checks. And arrival checks would be the altimeter setting, rad alt, and check your landing light is on.
Got it.
Which
So
all
check your
of,
altimeter 3020, rad out, landing lights on.
yeah.
Okay, cool. I hopefully will remember that.
Well, more accurately, check your altimeter is whatever you have it at,
Hmm.
because we
Yep.
need to be matching. It's
Yep.
actually not what
Yeah, whatever
the
we.
common misconception is that you're reading out the actual altimeter. The reality is we just set the rest of the delta sets whatever boss has, even if it's wrong.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. I think that's it. Anything on your end?
If we are doing a flat show, or let me put it this way: if we're assuming a flat show, I need you to be really clear when you transition it to a low show if you're gonna do that.
Yes.
Because the show order is really different between a low show and a flat show.
Yep.
Low show and high show are not that different, but flat show and low show are pretty different.
Yeah.
If it needs to transition back to a flat show, also be clear, because the
back half is very different.
The rejoin after the high alpha, because then we go into the delta aileron roll as opposed to the delta roll.
Yep.
And that's also really different. So that's the high alpha, clear from the high alpha is probably behind the inverted to inverted, or I guess the knife edge when you decide for flat show, even though we do still do the inverted to inverted in a flat show.
Headset awake.
Yeah, the knife edge, after the clear from the knife edge, and probably the clear from the inverted tuck over roll is the point where we are gonna. I need to know whether we're in flat show or low show mode.
Yeah,
because those are the 2 points where the order changes the most.
The 2 places where I would expect to make that determination will be after the knife edge and before the line abreast, whatever.
Okay, cool. So yeah, if you do a flat pass, I'm going to assume a flat show.
It also could be a low show, but I will call whichever it's going to be.
Sounds good. And then knife edge, just call it or wherever you're gonna.
And if we have to change somewhere else in the middle there, I'll try to make it very clear.
Yeah, and I was at a Corpus Christi show in crappy weather where they bailed midway through the show, and there was a point. It wasn't on comms, but there was a point where 6 did a maneuver and punched through the clouds, and then they changed everything after that.
Yep.
So I know that happens.
Yep. All right. Anything else before we get started?
We need to talk about goals.
Actually, one last note before we talk about goals. Watch your fuel. We have a ways to go.
That in my practice.
Yeah, we got a ways to go both directions. Have yet to land with less than 2,600, but just watch your fuel. And also, we have a ton of power authority here. So.
Yep. I was below 2,000 when I did my practice show when we landed.
All right. So goals for the show. There's a lot to adapt to. So just like same goal that I've had for the last month and a half, which has been get those maneuvers in between the 10-second, within the 10-second mark, and stay ahead of the show. Those are my 2 goals.
Yeah, mine is very simple. My goal is just to stay ahead of the show today.
All right.
That is all.
Anything else before we get started?
No.
Whew, okay. Ready, break. I'm going to switch inputs. BrotherLeb, you got me? Check 1 2. BrotherLeb, you got me?
Loud and clear. Help me.
I got you.
I don't like this. My PC does not sound like a vacuum cleaner right now, which makes me uncomfortable. But here we go.
Odd.
Yeah, does yours sound like a vacuum cleaner?
Marginally, but mine has never nearly been as much of a vacuum cleaner as yours.
That's true. Anyway. Well, regardless, here we are. Let me know when you're ready for unpause.
I wonder whether or not there's something up with this update with, like, VRAM usage that is wigging your graphics card out.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, I was able to fly for over an hour before the problem happened yesterday, so I'm hopeful that maybe we will have enough time for the full show.
We'll find out. I'm ready for unpause.
Ready for bus.
Your server.
Oh yeah, right. 3, 2, 1, mark.
Don't touch that. So used to setting the altimeter, which, you know, you actually would in a real jet, but we don't have someone who's going to tell us what the field altimeter is unless you feel like trying to memorize that.
Do not.
No.
Not today.
Yeah, exactly. Realistically, 4 would have that written down somewhere.
Yep.
All right, let me know when you're ready for startup.
Let it ready for start.
Battery on, APU on, standby canopy.
Web.
3, 2, 1, mark. Standby, right engine crank.
Lab.
In 3, 2, 1, mark. Standby, right engine
There's
forward.
the vacuum cleaner.
Good.
Web.
That's hopeful. Right engine forward in 3, 2, 1, mark. Standby, right engine, left engine crank.
Left engine.
Sorry, my knee boards are out of order. It's going to be fun when we start taxiing. Okay. Left engine crank in 3, 2, 1, mark. Stand by left engine forward.
Leblicious.
Roll left, roll left.
In 3, 2, 1, mark.
Flight
Stand by
controls.
FCS.
Flight controls.
Go for us, yes.
In 3, 2, 1, mark. In test.
Lab. Okay.
Caucasus is so optimized.
Yeah, it is quite smooth.
Chariot's FCS is go.
Lab FCS, go.
Hello. Okay. You know, I should probably get the right setting for my INS.
I think that's a good decision.
What do we got? Huh. I wonder if they're trying, if DCS, if they've tried to, like, reduce the GPU utilizations. Like, have it be variable versus just smashing it the whole time.
I mean, I wouldn't complain just as long as it doesn't cause CTDs or headset malfunctions for me. I have his holding DC.
Same with Chariot. Classic. Huh. UTC's wrong. Need to adjust that. Chase DTC complete.
Oh, tree, come on.
Chase chicken 1. Discord check.
Okay, I have a problem. Hold on. Forgot to do a thing that I should have done. Crap, we're gonna have to restart.
Why is that?
I have voice chat off for some reason, and I can't change it when we're in the server.
Well, yeah, we're gonna have to restart.
Sorry.
All right,
I
go ahead.
did not know
and-
that. Leaving the server in 3, 2, 1.
You do that just for the sake of SRS?
No, it was part of the troubleshooting yesterday, and I just forgot to switch it back.
Okay.
Let me know when the server's back up.
I'm trying not to show your IP.
Nice, I appreciate that. Server should be up very shortly. It's loading. Remember to check your switches.
Thank you.
Okay, yeah, server's up.
Switches are set.
Just for reference, this amount of cloud cover is 7 on the density scale in the mission editor. I cranked it up to 10 just to see, and it actually wasn't completely covered. I think it can go higher than 10, but there were still patches at 10. I also tried 8, and it wasn't that different from 7, so I just left it at 7, which is what the DCS real weather gave. All right, ready to unpause?
Yes.
3, 2, 1, unpause.
This is broken.
What's broken?
The clouds.
Oh, yeah, broken layer, yeah.
That's what it says. All right. Nope. Advise run, ready for startup.
Ready.
Battery on, APU on, standby canopy.
Go.
3, 2, 1, mark. We'll do a radio check quickly after we get right engine cranked.
Affirm.
Standby for right engine crank.
Leb.
In 3, 2, 1, mark. Standby right engine forward.
Leb.
Right engine forward in 3, 2, 1, mark. Standby left engine crank. Sorry,
Leb.
standby radio check.
Hold one. Yeah, ready for radio check.
We're actually going
When?
to crank the left engine and then we'll radio check. So, crank my
Cool,
left
sounds
engine.
good. Leb.
In 3, 2, 1, mark. Standby radio check.
Radio check.
Trace up 1, come
Roll
1.
left, roll left.
Hold up one, come on, read you out clear.
Left engine crank in 3, 2, 1, mark. Standby FCS.
Go for SCS.
In 3, 2, 1, mark. In test.
Leb, same. This is happening.
Chariot's FCSs go.
Leb, same. All right, that's just what I forgot to do.
Chariot's IFA is holding DTC.
Leb's going DTC. Oh, no, well, he already did.
Sure is DTC complete.
I think it should be fine. Lab is DTC complete.
Try some chicken one.
Level 3, come on.
Discord check.
Good check.
Take our checks.
What?
Check your smoke pressure on. Check your trim set. Check your heading. My heading 151. Check altimeter set 3020 for a uncorrected center point elevation of 0 feet. Check your warning 0. Check your FCS 12. 30 30 30 down 2. Check your fuel seat arm lights out.
Lab.
Check your smoke pressure on. Smoke on. Smoke off.
Good smoke. Good afternoon, Chariot. Updated winds are 240 for 6 knots. Check your altimeter set 3020 for an uncorrected center point elevation of 0 feet. And a density altitude of, looks like about 60 feet, 63 feet above sea level. Chariot Squawk 1205, level Squawk 1206, you're clear to taxi left out of checks, left onto left again, then right on Sierra, left on Alpha, and you can make the call for the runway. We're taking off 25.
Thanks, Lab. We're cleared to taxi. Line up and wait. Runway 25.
Yep.
Solos, we're cleared to taxi. Check your park box off. Chariot's powering up to 75%. Chariot's rolling. Ease powered to 70. And coming left.
Labs are rolling.
Chariot's coming further left. Give me 2 on the right wing.
Lab.
Chariot's adding power to 72 and let it roll.
You got 2?
Chariot's coming easy right. Chariot's ease and power to 70. Chariot 3020 feet set. 0 rad out.
Labs 3020 right up.
Chariot's easing power to 68 and land and roll. Check your flaps half, pumps off. Chariot's flaps half, 321, 2 degrees down, rad out.
Labs flaps half, 3020 right up. Words are hard. Oh no.
Go line abreast.
Lab.
Easing power to idle. BrotherLeb detach.
Lab is detached here.
Right lead.
Let's go to lead on the right. Little brakes. Power set 68 lateral. Little brakes. Easy brakes. Off. Brakes now. We're coming left. Okay.
Little brakes. Off brakes now. Coming left. Okay. Little brakes. Easy brakes. Little brakes. Brakes. Solos were clear for takeoff. Updated winds are 240 for 6. That's a headwind. Maneuver. Our section no flap or go maneuver.
NFPTO.
Check your park brakes off. Let's drum up. Off brakes now. Blowers ready now. A little pull. Stand by, roll gear. Roll. Rolling out. Easing power. Easing more power. A little drive. Easing the drive to level. Easing more power. Easing even more power.
You got to.
A little more drive. Let's ease it out.
Left.
Ease out to well clear. Arrival checks.
Left is clear.
3020 set. Barrow out.
Left 3020, barrel.
Coming left. A little pull. Ease in the pull and rolling out. Or a beam crowd right for the head on.
Left.
A little drive to level. Keep it eased out. I'll call, take it in. $10 mark. Take it in. Coming left. Coming further left. Comes the pull. Ease and some pull. And rolling out. Stay in formation.
Up.
We're at the 45 for the head-on.
Left.
Screwed this up. It's gonna be short. Coming back left. Coming further left. Comes the pull. Ease in the pull. Roll, not go land rest for the head on. Adding power. 10 right.
Left.
Smoke on. Smoke off. Souls attach. Easing power. Center point. Mark, we're low. Ready, hit it. Smoke on. 3 to mark.
Match.
10 slow.
Number.
Numbers.
Connect.
Blind. Connect. Looking for BrotherLeb.
Left.
Merge. Stand by, roll. Pull the 40. Stand by, roll. Smoke off. Stand by, roll. Chairs clear and clearing behind the crowd for the opposing knife edge. 1.5 mark.
Leb's unsure distance, so I got a waypoint problem. I'll fix it on the outbound. Leb's at 3.2. 3.5. 4 miles mark.
Let me know your beam.
A beam.
Let me know your take a mark.
Hold a little. Take it.
Stand by, mark it. 47.
Left.
Turret's in for the right knife edge.
Left and right edge.
Oh.
10 seconds mark. Point to ahead. Working an angle.
On time.
Three miles mark. 385. Two miles mark. 415. Working an angle.
Smoke on.
Contact.
Contact smoke off. Ready, hit it. Stand by, roll, and pull. Stand by, roll. Stand by, roll. Stand by, roll.
Clear.
Roll. Chairs clear and clearing in front of the crowd for the opposing inverted to inverted rolls. 1.7 mark.
2 miles.
Flat show, Leb.
Flash O. .5 mark. 4 miles mark.
Let me know on your beam.
Beam.
Let me know your trick mark.
Go take it.
Stand by, mark it. 20. Turret's in for the left inverted.
How's it left inverted? 10 seconds mark. Little ahead. 395. Three miles mark. 404. Two miles mark. 406.
Ready, hit it. Smoke on.
Roll right, roll right.
Caught it.
Looking good.
Roll right, roll right.
A little drive. Ready, hit it.
Clip.
Stand by, roll. And pull. Ease pull. Roll it up. Chair's clear and clear behind the crowd for the 6th dedication pass.
Leb is clear for the 6th dedication pass.
Let me know you got contact.
Leb has contact. You're clear. Do what you need.
Sure. Chair's clearing behind the crowd for the MRT.
Center point. 3 miles. Turn in for the dedication pass. Six is in for the dedication pass. 0.82.
Chair's turn in 3.7 for the MRT.
Leb is clear.
2 miles, mark 350. 1.5, mark MRT. 1 mile, mark 350. Burners now. Ready, hit it. Good entry.
Right controls. Right controls.
Easable. Comes the pull.
Flight controls.
Pulling.
Flight controls.
Kicking. Chariot's pushing out. Leveling out 1,000. Coming right. Comes the pull.
Contact.
Contact. Easable. Rolling out. Smoke on. Smoke off. Easing power 360.
Contact.
370. Easing more power. Souls behind crowd. Setting up the opposing MRT.
Pull up. Got 2J.
Chariot. We're coming right. Comes the pull. Rolling out a little bank. A little more pull. Easing the pull. Rolling out. The opposing MRT online, adding power. A little drive. Easing power, easing more power, a little pull to level. Smoke on left lead.
Full head. Power set.
Smoke off. Ready, hit it. Smoke on. 3 to mark.
Match.
Numbers.
Number. Contact.
Looking for BrotherLeb.
Pull up.
Merge. Stand by, roll. Pull to 40. A 10. Stand by, roll. Roll.
Clear.
Chairs clear. And clearing in front of the crowd for the opposing horizontal rolls. 2.2 mark.
2.4. Four miles.
Let me know on your beam.
Beam.
Let me know your take a mark.
Take it.
Stand by, mark it. 58. Charts in for the left horizontal rolls behind the crowd clears.
Oh, the left horizontal is behind the clear. Contact with mark. 4 ahead. .8 mark 380. 2 miles mark 404.
Smoke on.
Contact.
Contact. Little pull. Ready, hit it. Cheers, sir. Smoke off. Stand by, roll, and pull. Ease pull. Rolling out. Chairs clearing behind the crowd for the double sneak.
Left clear, double sneak.
Chairs 2.5 for the double sneak. Chariot 7.2, state.
Web 7-4.
Chariot circling 5 miles for the double sneak. And Chariot's turning in 4.8, double sneak, halfway between log boom and the boat.
Left.
4 miles, mark .75.
Well behind.
3 miles, mark point 82.
On time.
2 miles, mark point 87. 1 mile, mark point 90, full burn.
Smoke's on.
Cheers, clear.
Web is late. Ready, hit. Smoke off.
Cheers, clear 2.5 for the solo flat pass.
Leb is clear.
Cheers, circling 3.5, solo flat pass. Flat show, Leb.
Let's go.
Cheers, turn in 3.3, solo flat pass. Using lots of power on the brakes. Ease pull, roll out. The solo flat pass off the brakes. Wings level, smoke on. We're in for the solo flat pass. Adding a little power. Center point. Smoke off. A little pull, adding power. Adding more power. Ease the pull. Go, Diamond Stinger. BrotherLeb detach. Chariots detach, boss. Let me know on your beam.
Beam.
Let me know, take a mark.
Go take it.
Stand by, mark it. 10. Chariots in for the right 4 point.
Left and right 4 point. 10 seconds, mark. Point 2 ahead, 380.
Chariots behind.
3 miles, mark 380.
Point 2.
2.5.
On.
2 miles, mark 395. Working high.
Smoke on.
Contact.
Contact smoke off. Ready, hit it. 1, 2,
Go right, go right.
3, 4. Stand by, roll, and pull. Stand by, roll. Stand by, roll. Stand by, roll.
Clear.
Roll. Chariots clear. And clearing in front of the crowd, transitioning to behind the crowd for the inverted tuck over roll.
Leb. Leb's coming left 2 miles, crowd right. Correction, crowd left, 390.
Contact.
Easing power, 400. 390. 380. 370. 360. Roll and out, 350. $345, little power.
Overshoot.
Close behind the crowd, send up the inverted tuck roll.
Chariot, do what you need.
Left. Little pull. Easing the pull to level 350. And we're coming left. Coming further left. Comes the... Oh, I just lost the headset.
Comes the pull. A little more pull.
He's a little more power, a little further left.
Contact.
Leb's declaring emergency. Continue to show. I'm gonna go land.
Chariot, ease the pull. Rolling out. Contact. You're well clear.
Web is clear.
Ready. Hit it. Smoke on. Outboard. Low. A little drive. Ready. Hit it. Sure, sir. Smoke off. Stand by. Roll. Pull to 10 degrees. Stand by. Roll. Rolling out. Coming left. Ease pull. Rolling out. Coming back. Left. 370. Easing power to hold 380. Coming a little further left, a little more pull. Easing the pull, rolling out. Souls are behind the crowd, or chairs behind the crowd, setting up the section high alpha. Easing a little power. Adding a little power. Easing power to idle. Coming left. Coming further left comes the pull. A little more pull. Stand by the boards. Boards. Rolling out a little bank. So it's a 90 for the single high alpha.
Leb's down and safe, Batumi.
Chariot. Easing the pull, rolling out. The section high alpha, inboard outboard by 0.4. Stand by the boards, boards. Easing power. 170. A little pull. 155. Easing power to idle. 150. 145. 140. Pull into the set. Setting it. Smoke on. Coming easy left. Rolling out. Center point. Wave it off, chairs powering out. Pull on the 60. Rolling. Chairs clear. And coming right. Easing the pull, rolling out. Coming back left, 385. A little pull. Easing lots of power, easing the pull, rolling out. Delta's behind the crowd, setting up the Delta aileron roll. Ease in the pull. We're coming left. Coming further left. Comes the pull. A little more pull. A little more pull. We're at the 90 for the Delta left aileron roll. Rolling out, little bank. Ease in the pull. Roll out the Delta aileron roll. A little drive. Adding power. Adding more power. Smoke on. Easing a little power. Easing more power. A little pull. Ready, hit it. Smoke off. Easing power. Easing more power. We're coming right. Adding power. Coming further right. Comes the pull. Delta's in front of the crowd for the maneuvering Delta. Adding more power. A little more pull. Rolling out. The maneuvering Delta. Ease in the pull. Ease in more pull. Rolling out. Smoke on. Center point. Coming left. Coming further left. Comes the pull. Adding power. A little more pull. Ease the pull. Rolling out. Easing power. Easing more power. Delta's in front of the crowd, setting up the Delta overhead flat pass. Adding power. Adding more power. Coming left. Coming further left. Comes the pull. A little more pull. We're at the 90 for the Delta overhead flat pass. Easing some pull. Easing more pull. Easing power. Easing more power. Rolling up some bank. Ease of the pull. Rolling out the Delta overhead flat pass. 12 right. A little pull. Smoke on. Ease in the pull. We're in for the Delta overhead flat pass. Smoke off. Coming left. Coming further left, adding a little power. A little pull. A little more pull.
Chariot, check smoke.
Smoke off. Ease on the pull and rolling out. Easing more power. Let's ease it out to well clear. Arrival checks. Chariot's at 3020. Rad alt. Check your line lights on. Adding a little power. We're 10 miles abeam, runway right. For the left, pitch up brake to land, runway... runway 08. Chariot has the field. Smoke on. Coming back right. Take it in. Coming further right. Comes the pull, adding power. Adding more power. Coming further right. A little more pull. Easing a little power. Easing the pull. Rolling out. Easing more power. The left. Pitch a brake to land. Center point. Boss braking. Ease on the pull. Rolling out. 260. Smoke off. Gear and flaps. Chariot's gear down, flaps down, hook up. Coming left, a little pull. 280. 260. Chariot's at the 90. Check him at 3 in the green. Stagger his left winds are 240 at 6. 220. 200. 180. 160. 140 all the way. Tries okay. Little brakes. Easy brakes. Little brakes. Brakes. Chariots. Okay. Landing checks. Check your smoke pressure off. Check your tabs. Check flash auto. Check your landing lights off. Reset your trim and save your seat. I'll go well clear on Alpha for, well clear on Sierra rather, for individual left 90s into chocks 251. Chariots adding power to 75%. Off brakes now. Chariots coming right, do what I need. Give me 2 and trail. Easing power. 272 and letting it roll. And easing power to 68 and letting it roll. Coming right, give me 2 on the right wing. Adding power to 72, reference 25 knots. Go well clear. Chariot's clear. A little brakes, easy brakes, a little more brakes, off brakes now. Ease power 66. Coming left 151. Little brakes, easy brakes, little brakes, brakes. Standby canopy and engines in a 3, 2, 1 mark. And that's a show.
Yeah, I'm clear. Yeah? What do you think? The restart. Uh-huh. Yeah, it's really weird the way that it like blinks out one eye, then the other one. And another aspect of it that's weird, at least I think, is that it would come back. Like it didn't just straight go forever. It would come back on for a few seconds and then it would disappear. It didn't seem to be related to fan speed and how hard the CPU was working. It would just like sometimes there'd be pictures, sometimes there wouldn't.
That's weird. And so, like,
I have,
so were the displays actually going out, or were they just showing black?
I think they were just showing black, though there were a couple of times where it would go black, black, and then it felt like the whole display would go.
That's weird.
Yeah. I was wondering if like the headset's not getting enough power. But then why would it work for like half an hour, 45 minutes, and then stop?
Maybe there's a resource overrun with DCS now, and your graphics card can't handle it?
Yeah. Yeah. It feels like the headset loses VRAM or something. Or like the VRAM going to the headset stops. It doesn't go, there's not enough of it and it doesn't go out there.
Do you have your headset? No, you don't. Never mind.
Huh?
Just ignore me. Oh boy, interesting. Okay, that sucks. But that just means that I'll host, and you just don't start up DCS until we're ready to fly.
Yeah. I wish I knew what was going on though.
Well, one thing that you could test over the next week would be to roll back your DCS version and just go on a long flight and see what happens.
Yeah.
Because this just happened 2 times fairly consistently based upon what you said.
Yep.
Like the timing.
Yeah.
So that leads me to believe that, well, we have to figure out which variable it is, and I would start with DCS. Because it just had an update, and you just had this start happening after an update.
It definitely didn't happen at all before this update, so it does feel like something changed with the update.
Yep. I wonder. I mean, there wasn't a crash, but I wonder if there's logs you could send in.
I mean, I could look at my logs right now.
But anyway,
let's debrief first.
Let's debrief, and then we'll shut down the recording,
stream.
and we'll either diagnose or we could hop in and do a second half of a show if you want, because I think that if you restart the headset, you'll probably get it all back.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be my guess.
Oh, weird.
What? Oh, what's that? Flat show, which means I have to do. I have to do two windows of the book. Sorry, what were you saying about weirdness?
There's a .crash file in my logs, even though I didn't get a crash.
Dotted for today?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
From like 5 minutes ago, which could be just like the DCS didn't close properly.
Uh-huh.
But that'll be an interesting thing to look at. Anywho.
I'm working on getting Alright, there's one. Okay. I can't. I have to present them as separate entire windows. Otherwise, it doesn't work. Okay. I'm not going to go for TAC view this time, because there's not a lot to look at.
Yeah.
Alright. Let's get rolling. Okay. This was a flat show, or at least half of a flat show at Koboleti. As far as goals for the show, my goal for the show was to adapt well and to stay ahead of it, and I felt like I did both of those things. So I'd give myself a B plus.
Yeah, my goal was to stay ahead of the show, and until I lost visuals, I felt like I was doing pretty good. So I think I'm gonna give it a B.
All right. Taxi seemed fine. We didn't debrief the the detach, but we adapted well to that. So I think, aside from my failure to brief, which is going to impact my personal score, I think that went well. So for the taxi, I'm going to give myself a D minus.
Yeah, I give myself just a solid B for the taxi. I feel like I adapted to, like, as soon as you detached me, and then you handed me lead, I knew what you were going to do. You took it back at a point I wasn't anticipating, but that was fine because at that point you just called maneuvers and I did them, and I'm used to doing that. So I feel like I rolled with the punches pretty well.
No flap lower go take off. Up until the point where I stopped looking at you, we were right next to each other. And then I felt like I performed the maneuver decently, but I ended up a little nose low. So that's a little bit of a safety. All in all, I'd kind of give myself like a C minus for that maneuver. I wasn't particularly stoked about it, but it wasn't awful.
Yeah, I'd probably give myself a C minus as well. We were right in line, fine. I didn't quite get enough pull to match your like lift rate or your VSI, and I didn't roll enough on the initial roll because I didn't feel like I had enough control authority with the amount of backstick I had to try and match you, and I didn't roll back in quickly enough. And then because you were nose low, I was much higher than you, so there were a lot of things that just were out of plane, but not dangerous. And then I was able to get in pretty quick after that. So yeah, C minus.
All right, it takes us to the head-on. I turned in way too early. I second-guessed myself, which I know my numbers from when we've been practicing this before, and I was just like, that's too tight of a turn, but apparently not. So I turned at 160, and I need to turn at 145. So that ended up having us be at a weird angle. We were 10. We were lined up 10 right, which sucked. And so what that ended up doing is it meant that you were way far out of center point. So and that my turn was super long. So I had to wait on you, and we were like 4 left by the time we did the hit. I pulled us to 40 degrees, which in a flat show would once again just be 10 degrees. So, whoops. So that's a safety because that'd put us in the clouds. So all in all, another C minus. A lot to improve here.
Yeah, my form flag was a little funky, and then the late turn, I didn't quite get line abreast by the time you smoked off. Was able to get in there. I didn't really like register what the angle variation was going to do for the actual turn itself, and actually my turn is longer than yours based on the way that the angle was for center point. So that's why we hit left, I think. But other than that, that was okay. Didn't even register that 40 was going to be too steep for a flat show. I was just like, I guess we do that. But then we did punch through the clouds, which that plus having the wrong waypoint. And I noticed the waypoint once we got line abreast coming in for the maneuver, but there was too much to do to fix it at that point. I think if I had like a physical like buttons to push, maybe I could have gotten it done, but there was no way in VR with the mouse. So I just sort of lived with it and tried to fix it on the outbound. For the next maneuver, boy, how do I rate that? I don't know. B minus. I feel like I flew it fine.
Alright, next move is the opposing knife edge. We had some distance discrepancies heading into the box. We already got those more or less resolved, and I think we hit somewhere near center point, like within 2. So I consider that a relative success given how out of params I was heading into the box, or heading towards center point. Yeah, felt good. The clears were also good. So I give myself a solid B.
Yeah, so not having the waypoint set, I was fixing that all the way on the outbounds, and then my angle was way off because I should have just looked at the kneeboard and set the outbound angle while I was fixing all that, but I didn't, and so I was flying basically further outboard than I needed to. So I was fixing a lot of angles on the way in, and that created all sorts of problems for you. So that is, I'll just call that an automatic fail because I have a kneeboard, that's what it's for, and I just didn't use it. Yeah, but we were able to make the hit work, which was good, and the rest of the maneuver was fine. But yeah, because I didn't like actually use the tools that we have, like we're supposed to, I'm going to call that a fail.
All right, invert to inverted. I think I was also working some timing stuff into the box for this one. Also, I called the hit way too early, so that's a bummer. Um, but I called the correct maneuver once we rolled behind crowd. So all in all, it's like once again a C minus. It's just not enough right. There were things that were right that have not been right before, but not enough right to give myself a passing grade.
Yeah, so the inbounds were better than obviously the knife edge, and I was lined up pretty well and got inverted at the right time. I remember that in previous shows that we were doing at Tbilisi, it was really hard for me to get enough drive to stay above you, and so I started it early, which was a mistake because we're at sea level, we're not up where Tbilisi was. So I ended up being really high and having to bring some of that drive out and just kind of wait until you got there. But I was still high and relative to you and nose high relative to where I normally want to be for starting that maneuver. So that was not ideal. So I don't know, C minus.
All right, that takes us to part number 2. It's not the dirty diamond roll. It is the dirty clean flat
My
pass
dedication.
with your dedication pass maneuver thing.
Yeah, I'll just brief that really quickly. I did not practice this maneuver at all or think through it, and so I crowd violated like a big dog, and so that's a fail.
All right. MRT flap show. Realistically, probably wouldn't do the climb, but it's 1,000, and it's fine. We'll live. If the clouds are like, if we ever do a show at like 1,200 clouds, then yeah, I wouldn't do the climb out. But I'm gonna do the climb out because we don't break 1,500 on that maneuver. Yeah, this was good. I got a little too slow and a little too behind crowd as I did my pull, so it doesn't look as sexy as normal. And then I had a ton of angles as we were doing the right hand turn. So all in all, not great. But the timing compared to your dedication pass was excellent. Like that is exactly where I want to be. Gives enough time for the delta to clear, and then I'm right in with the MRT. So that was a good adjustment for me. Felt like winging it like you do in a real show, where it's just like, gotta find the right time and just like maneuvering for the maneuver. So all in all, yeah, B minus because of my performance in the actual maneuver, but still a lot of good stuff.
Yeah, when you started calling distances and I was outbound, I was like, oh gosh, this is going to get interesting. And I haven't been able to do a rejoin from a right angle in a while. But it ended up working out. Timing was good. I was carrying a little bit too much smash, and so got a little out ahead of you. But then that ended up being about the right angle to be for the behind the crowd and the smoke on. And so, depending on how it looks, that actually might end up being pretty good profile for that. Similar to you, felt good to be sort of rolling with the punches, winging it like you would in a real show. And I felt like I adapted well, so I'll give myself a B.
All right, that takes us into the opposing minimum raise turn. The turn for this is a little funky over that hill, but all in all, I think it turned out pretty well. Yeah, we got down over that hill with a decent amount of clearance, probably about 100 feet, and then got wings level around 600-ish. I think like 560 feet at 400 knots, so I was really proud of myself for that. And we were online, which was really cool. Yeah, we smoked off over the crowd, and I gave it some extra moments before you smoke off over the crowd, but then you have to do the count. You have to do the timing from center point. Otherwise, you end up having to do a bunch of horking to get back around to center point. So timed it off at center point. My roll was good, but I think I pulled wings high this time, so I ended up climbing over you, which is not going to look great. But then was able to hold my stuff pretty well around the corner, and I think we're going to hit somewhere around center point. Probably, if I had to guess and be conservative, like 2 left. I totally screwed up my outbound heading, and then I screwed up how much angle we were supposed to pull to. But my clear aside from that was great. So all in all, there's a ton of really good stuff, but there's a couple of things that need to get fixed. I would give myself a solid B- for that.
Yeah, I thought your setup was great. I was able to get pretty close to a beam, just a little ahead when you handed me lead, and on speed, which felt great. We were on the numbers all the way around. I was like, oh, don't be late. So I brought in a little extra speed so I wasn't behind, because I've been behind. We keep hitting right. And based on what I'm seeing on the tack view, I'm guessing we're going to hit 4 left. So I was just a little too fast. And I kind of felt it, but I was afraid that I didn't believe what I was seeing.
Yeah.
And so I think that's just a learning experience. Like, if you're actually on your numbers, which you were, if I'm on my numbers, we should hit just fine. And I need to get just better at knowing what that sight picture looks like for the timing of that to hit at center point. But we were close, and that was good. And then I just kind of followed whatever you said after that. So yeah, I give myself a B for that.
All right. Let's see. Clearing from that takes us to the opposing horizontal rolls. The behind the crowd clears. I was wrestling with being. I think I was quite a bit behind for these inbounds, so I had a ton of smash coming into the box. But was able to ease it all out, and I think we hit somewhere near center point, and that's kind of the story of today. I was like, 0.2 off on the inbounds most of the time, but then was able to make it work as we came into the box. So I'm kind of proud of myself for all that. I don't know. I'm not hitting 4 miles consistently at 10 seconds. So that's the thing, my takeaway that I need to work on from this show.
Yeah, same. I think I actually need to go a little bit. I think I need to wait to call a beam.
Why is that?
Adjust my profile, because by the time we get to 10 seconds, I'm usually ahead of it by 0.2.
So you
usually I'm usually a little slow because I have pulled power because I know I'm going to be early.
So you need to not wait then, right?
No.
If you're ahead, then wouldn't you need to call?
Oh yeah,
early?
Well, maybe. I mean, I'm basically pointing directly behind crowd when I call a beam. But yeah, anyway, I got to make some change before we turn in so that my timing at the 4 mile mark is better, because I'm early on those, early and slow. This one I was really early, which is why you were so behind, and so that was on me. Rest of the maneuver was perfectly adequate, but because I was so early, I'm gonna give myself a D for that. I basically held 380 all the way to center point because I knew how behind you were, and that's not how it's supposed to work.
For me, I'll give myself I think I'll actually give myself a B+ for this, because the maneuver itself was good. I remember to clear behind the crowd, and I was able to solve the timing thing. A note for the future is if you can tell that you're going to be ahead, just say I'm going to be early. Or sorry, I'm something like that. Just because that'll help me drift in the right direction. If that makes sense.
Yep. I mean, I didn't realize it until I called the 10 seconds, because I called 10 seconds and I was at 3.5. So, yeah. And then the second call I gave was 2.8 because I'd already blown through 3. So yeah, it was just a shambles all the way around.
All right. After this comes the sneak to sneak, the double sneak. Doing this is always fun because you end up like getting tons of smash right over the ground. So doing a flat turn into the sneak is a really interesting experience. But yeah, I was in a good place on good speed. Was still like more or less matching. Like once I turned in, more or less matching the standard profile. Cross center point at 400 feet at 0.96. Sorry, 40 feet at 0.96, which is right where I want to be personally. I know it says 50 feet there, but I tend to go lower because I'm not having to comply with the FAA in Sim. And the clear behind the crowd was low and a little sloppy, but that also doesn't really matter that much, so I'd give myself a solid B+.
Yeah, I need to turn in earlier because we're supposed to be like one after the other real quick, like even quicker than the sneak to vertical roll. And so I was late, like really late. I thought I was going to be on time, and I pulled power because I was worried I was going to be a little early, and that was a mistake, which exacerbated the problem. But I was already going to be late from like the 4 mile mark. And there wasn't a whole lot that I could do to fix it because I didn't turn in fast enough. In addition to that, my turn in front of crowd was fine, smoked off at the right point, and then I didn't do the wing dip. I just came straight behind crowd, and so that was a mistake. So overall, boy, it's not quite a fail, but it's, yeah, I don't know, C-.
Mm-hmm. Right, that was that one. And that puts us into the line breast flat pass. Hello. The line breast flat pass. Yeah. This was fine. Nothing to write home about. Moving on. Don't need to grade it. Posing 4 points. I was uber ahead for this one. Coming into the box, and then had to chuck burners into it as we were at the 1 mile to get us relatively close to center point, and I think I pulled it off. I think I did. I'll be very curious to find out. But they were my rolls were very slow and measured and fairly good, and I made a huge cardinal error. Now, we did the maneuver as called in the show, but for a low show, you're supposed to be behind the crowd clears, and I did not call that. So we did in front of the crowd clears. So like, whoop-de-doo. Good job, everybody. But that's a safety because it's a flat show, and we're supposed to be behind the crowd clears. So we had to improvise heading into the inverted tug-over roll. And that sucks. And led to some issues and exacerbated the problem that we're about to talk about. So actually, it's probably best that it happened when it did, because otherwise it would have happened while we were inverted, and that would have been a whole other ball of wax. So that's a big F from me, but I'm glad it happened the way it did today. I'm glad we're still here.
Yeah. So, similar to the double sneak, I misjudged the timing for getting in position, and I think I just need to be closer to in position and hanging on the blades. Than I was trying to like line it up just so, and so I was pretty far behind crowd when you called a beam, or for the beam, and I got in. And I want to say I was a little slow, maybe a little fast. I don't remember. And then I was working a pretty gnarly angle for a bit. And so that, I think, created a lot of the problems that you were trying to fix in the timing. Actual maneuver, I was a little nose low at the inverted, so I think I'm going to be below you. So that was not good either. I was working high coming into the box, like at the 1 mile mark. And so I was trying to work it back down, but that meant that I was just a little nose low to start the maneuver. I tried to yug additionally to account for it, but didn't quite. So overall, C-. Yeah. I was ready to turn behind crowd. I was about to do it, and then you said roll, or I can't remember what it was. There was something that I could tell that you were like, oh, he's doing that. And so I did the outboard clear. And I don't know how I intuited that, because I was all set up to do a behind the crowd clear. But somehow I knew you weren't going to do it. I don't know how. I don't even remember consciously thinking it, but I remember consciously thinking it's a behind the crowd clear as we started the 4 point, the the first knife edge, and then as soon as I rolled wings level, I was like, this is going to be outboard, and I just knew it, and so we did it. So when you did it, it didn't surprise me at all.
It never crossed my mind. I think I was just trying to solve too much.
Yeah. Inverted tech overroll. This is basically where my show ended. I'm bummed because I felt like I was like, oh, hey, we're going to have to adjust for this change, and I feel like I'm adjusting well, and I'm ready to start like resetting mentally and like really go into a good, solid second half of the show. And then I just lost the HMD and couldn't see. So yeah, I just went and did an emergency landing at Batumi, which was moderately bad because I was trying to do it using the mirror on my desktop, and that's hard to read the HUD. So yeah, that's the end of my show.
Yeah. I had buckets of overshoot. But I then rejoined safely on your wing and was ready to roll in and like settle in for a very exciting new profile for the inverted tech overroll. Then your headset went out, so I ducked underneath your aircraft and continued the maneuver. At which point you kept calling things, so I was like, did he get it back? So I looked back and attempted to start to rejoin, and then you said to keep going, so then I went off and did my own thing. I'm not going to talk a lot about these because I don't lead them, so yeah, this one was more or less safe. My head was out of the game, though, so inverted level flight was all over the place. Give myself a C minus. But like it was all done at the right times, and the clear was good. Section high alpha was good, but the pull to the set I didn't account for the winds, so we were outboard, and we were also inboard to outboard for the initial set, so I had to bring us back a little bit left. And my 6 clear, which you do when you're alone, I'll be interested to see what that looks like. I did a rudder swap right at the end, so I'll be very interested to see if that looks any good. And then that takes us behind the crowd to set up for the Delta Aileron roll. Which, hey, look, they updated the book. This wasn't here last time. Welcome to the new FAA manual.
Where'd you get it?
It's the same place. It's the same.
Oh yeah.
If you don't save the PDF from last year, it gets overwritten. So here we are, the Delta Aileron roll, new graphic. Awesome. So this was from crowd right to crowd left. I was on and everything, and I don't know where my smoke weirdness happened. It was probably here, though. But I thought I smoked on for this. So I'm really fascinated to know.
You were smoke. So I was like respawning and stuff. I didn't see this maneuver, or I did see the roll, and you were a smoke on for the roll. And then I didn't see what you did after that because I immediately started respawning.
End of that, so I must not have.
And then I caught you coming back toward crowd for the Delta overhead flat pass. And you smoked off. You were smoke on heading away from crowd for that. And then when you called smoke on, you turned off your smoke. So the switch happened somewhere in between.
I know where it happened. I'll get there. Yeah. All right. So this was a perfect maneuver. This was a perfectly good maneuver. 400 knots on the bomb at 0.5, little pull up to 2.5 degrees. Then ready, hit it. Drop the nose, snap roll, right on level, ease power back, and then at 2 miles, smoke off at 1 mile. Smoke off immediately after the roll, and then at 2 miles, right hand turn in front of the crowd to set up for the maneuvering delta. At which point, I was in front of the crowd and swept back in. It was a little bit of a tight turn, but we did cross over center points and at a decent speed. Rolled out at a little bit of a weird angle, too far in front of crowd. But we were still at a good speed, and so I just adapted for that in my turn for the Delta breakout, or the Delta overhead flat pass. Which was good. Actually, that's all part of maneuvering Delta. I forgot. Yep. And the Delta overhead flat pass was good, except for the fact that I didn't smoke on before we went over the crowd, so I ended up turning on the smoke instead of turning it off. Turned behind crowd right to egress home. Did good landing checks, did a good setup for the left pitch break to land. Left pitch break to land was good, but I rolled out at 360 instead of 365, so I had a very shallow angle to get to the runway, which is dangerous as far as bank angle for the landing. Landing was good, taxi was good, that was definitely a solo taxi profile, but I definitely got all of the marks in where we'd be adjusting and I'd be commanding you to do things. So that was all good. Parking was good. That's it.
Under normal circumstances, would you have a covered wagon to Bravo or just on a solo clear to Alpha?
I would have solo cleared to Alpha because Bravo is very quick after Alpha.
Got it.
I thought about that, but it's not worth. It would realistically, if we were going to do it that way, I wouldn't covered wagon. I'd just have you give me 2 on the right, back taxi, and then exit on Bravo.
Got it. Yeah.
But I think it's easier to just exit on Alpha.
There's also Charlie all the way to the other side of the runway, about the same distance from the end on the other side. But that would be a really long back taxi just for the sake of a covered wagon.
And it also sets us up improperly for parking.
True.
So if we wanted to do that, we'd have to set the diamond up the opposite direction, which, given our templates, is actually fairly easy. But
I could easily do that. It would just depend on whether you really want to do a cover wagon or not. I don't think it's necessary.
Cover wagon's really cool, but believe it or not, it happens at less shows than you think. Because the cover wagon is when it makes sense to back taxi the diamond and the Delta, and here is not one of those.
Yep.
All right. That will be that. Hello, I'm not going to shut down. I want to Alt F4 this. All right. So let's go look at what the replay that we have.
Woo! Ripla.
Yeah, I think we'll be able to avoid having you black out as long as we are thoughtful about this.
If it is true that it is a time-related thing, which would make sense if there's like some sort of resource overrun that's like happening.
It happened after about an hour, both times it's happened.
It's true.
So, yeah. I'll be interested to see if there's anything in the logs for that. And also if you do any testing.
Yep. I'll try it. I'll try to roll back and see if I can do at least an hour flight. See what happens.
Going back is no fun, but hey, look. Okay, they finally loaded.
No, I'm not looking forward to it. It's going to be a pain in the ass.
Alright. Yeah, we'll just hang out here to watch the startup and taxi.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never thought of putting these guys here before.
It's perfect. I'm curious to see whether I hit the guy. 'Cause I had to give a lot of room. It's funny, you said you were rolling as I'm like nose to nose with him. I'm like, he's not rolling. He's
No, I was definitely on the brakes. Normally it takes forever to get 6 rolling, and so I was trying to anticipate, but because you were trying to avoid him and you were generally taxiing slower, then I ended up just holding the brakes. So.
Nope, didn't hit him. Good. I know how big my jet is. Alright. Let's go watch takeoff. to the highest. Take off.
And send it soaring.
Oh, yeah, I can turn on heat blur again. Because they fixed it.
Oh, that's something I realized that I hadn't remembered to do, which is to do the DLSS DLL swapper thing.
Yep. I didn't really notice it, though, to be honest with you.
I did a little bit.
But then again, I never flew form on you, so.
Yeah, your cockpit looked real weird.
Alright. Blue Angels 5 and 6 are rolling. Also, I almost ran over my cable, and that would be really bad.
Oh, drifting towards you. Oh, gosh.
Oh my goodness. Alright, there they go. Time to do something I haven't done in like 4 years. Alright.
So if you go to where the center point box guys are,
Yeah.
it's actually not quite lined up just right on center point.
Okay.
300 is the directly away from crowd heading.
Oh wow, they're 10 degrees off.
Yeah, I think I did it using the ME and didn't account for the magnetic variation.
Alright, 300 it is. We'll do it from the shoreline, right? That's the goal.
Roughly from, yep.
Or do we want to do the log boom?
No, I think we should do it from the shoreline.
Alright, cool.
Because the log boom gives you kind of a depth sense, which helps for visuals.
Where
I
are
think.
we? There we are.
There we are.
Meow. See if I can latch onto us. Not yet. Meow. How about now? Hi, boat. Nope. It's so jittery, it's ugly. Oh, no, nope, not yet. Come on. I can't get much higher than this. Oh, no. Oh, my gosh, please. Really? There we go. Oh, my gosh. Yeah, that was horrible running. Holy cow. Alright. Ooh, look at this wind. Hello. Also angle, but wind. That's what 6 knots apparently looks like. Trash angle. Ready, hit it. Nice, good split. Skip. Center point, 2 left. A little low.
I was a little low?
I was low.
Okay.
Because it's my... I do all of it. This maneuver. Alright, I'm just going to double check my height. Because I'm on the dirt. Alright, boop. Let's see, hold on. 12 feet. 14 feet. So now we're 3 feet tall. 5 feet tall. 6 feet tall. Because both BrotherLeb and I are around 6 feet. Well, we're over 6 feet tall, but since we can only go singles.
I'm only 6'2" now.
You
I
shrink.
used to be 6'3". I shrunk. Yep.
Getting old sucks. Ooh, 1 left. And on altitude. Good job. Oh, dude. So snappy here at sea level.
Very nice. Yeah. Uh-huh. I really hope this headset thing is fixable.
Yeah,
I'm not quite ready to pull the trigger on the Quest yet.
I know.
Mostly because I just don't want to do all the fiddly bits of trying to get that thing to work.
Eesh, sloppy rolling.
Way high, holy cow.
Jeez, this thing
It's
rolls
just
at
that.
sea level.
Yeah.
You don't notice it when you're flying the jet because you're just like in the zone. But like, man. All right, I'm gonna come right for my thing, and now we're gonna focus on 6. Skip. Here he comes, ladies and gentlemen, for the dedication pass. Check out his altitude here. That wasn't violating. That was fine.
It was like basically right over the logboom. Maybe a little outboard, but...
That's probably what they do.
Alright, well, I'm not gonna apologize for it. I take back whatever grade I gave it.
Oh, perfect timing. Look at me just rolling in here right now. Yep. This is the timing that they would do, probably.
What is the Delta doing at this point?
They're doing the Delta dirty clean flat pass, so they ingress
Alright.
towards center point dirty, and then they clean up as 6 goes by, and then they power out in burner behind crowd. So much vapors. Okay, that looked pretty sexy. Never mind. I take it back.
Yeah, looks good.
There he is!
Hauling the effing mail.
Skip. This is a really long turn.
It was a really long turn. It felt super long. And I definitely overrolled that turn. It's not just the track file. So that was a mistake.
See whether
Yeah,
they...
we might be behind one of these stacks because your lineup was pretty damn good.
That was fantastic. This is the best lineup I've had. Yeet. Little behind for me. Good altitude.
Good separation.
And... yeah, crossed a little high. Alright. I'll take that,
Timing
though.
was good, though. Yeah.
Skip!
I was right.
You're right. Very nice.
More than 4 left.
About.
So I need to work on that.
Oof. Give it more time, Lindgren.
I think you were flustered because you.
I was very
called the wrong
flustered.
pole.
Let it breathe, man. Pretty nasty angle coming in for this. Center point.
A little low. I was early on my pole too, because I'm so used to the smoke off burners pull. So that's the cadence I was thinking. I delayed it, but I was still a little
Where am I
early.
going? Right. Double sneak.
Yeah, you're going.
Here we go. Like,
I'm really late on this, like 10 seconds.
perfect. I won't stress about getting the off in the right spot. I could be lower at this show site.
It's probably as low as they'd actually do it.
Oh, for sure. There he goes.
I also wasn't idle enough to get the pole vicious enough. And I should have rolled out, but I just came straight by crowd. Just the wing dip and then roll off.
Skip this maneuver, 'cause it's boring. when there's just one jet to fly it. 4-point. Ready, hit it. 1, 2,
Yeah,
3,
thought so.
4. Very even rolls from me.
Nice.
And then I was like, what am I doing? Watch this, watch this. Woof. It looks so much worse in the cockpit. Alright, let's go find him. There he is.
Sad panda.
Meow.
I was enjoying this.
I know.
Wasn't like an amazing show, but I was having a good time. Watch him tumble.
This is me creating my lineup now. It's like, shoot!
I considered doing the maneuver because I lead it,
Uh-huh.
but I was like, I can't see the HUD well enough.
Pull to 10 degrees. Ready, roll. Stand by, roll. Come left. Smoke's on. We'll skip most of this because it's not that interesting. Okay. Get rid of the opposite rudder, but that was pretty decent. Alright, near. Find the crowd setting up the solo aileron roll. Smoke's on. Smoked on at 2 miles. A little pull. Ready, hit it. Smoke off. Now for everyone's favorite maneuver, the maneuvering delta. Yep, that looks right. Right amount of billowing smoke behind me.
I kind of feel like you'd want to be pointed more to the left.
You'd think so. But I gave it a good like 10 degrees. But yeah, we should be pointed directly at crowd.
Because center point is away, like
Yeah,
benched out from crowd. You want
I didn't think about
to
that.
set right of center point. Yeah.
Regardless of what your angle is, you should be pointed directly at crowd to start, and then
Yep.
ideally you pointed directly away from crowd to end.
Yep.
And that's the harder part.
Yep.
I didn't smoke off here. That's the problem. Like, oh, here's my angle. Smoke on. Alright, it's a flat pass. And away we go. Where's
To the
my
right.
runway?
There you
There it is.
Nice.
Gotta grab our mic cam here. Let's see how good my lineup was. There it is. can skip most of this. It's okay. Not the world's best lineup in the world.
So, flying blues profiles for so long actually has taught me a slightly bad habit for actual Navy flying. Because just like at the ship, they're always to the port of the runway.
Yes.
And I just bring it straight down the runway because that's what we always do for the blues shows. And I was doing that, and then I was leading a landing a while back, and Texas was like, "What the hell are you doing?" I was like, "Doing a landing." He's like, "Why are you flying right over the runway?" I was like, "I don't know. That's what you do." He's like, "No, is that how we do it at the ship?" And I was like, "I guess not." And then I went and looked at some of the NATOP stuff. I was like, "Oh, sure enough."
Gets way easier to park this when,
Oh yeah. I was curious what I wanted to try it with you. I was bummed that I didn't get a chance to.
Man, that pilot's starting to look real good.
Mm-hmm. I've been working on my B-roll.
Oh,
Because I
yeah?
want to get all that stuff off my computer. It's actually taking a lot longer than I thought. Even though all I'm doing is just, I don't know. There's a lot of it. We'll just start with that. But the pilot model stuff looks pretty good.
I'll bet.
Even as long ago as I filmed a lot of that stuff.
Yeah, alright, folks.
All right.
That's not what we wanted it to be. But, welcome to DCS updates.
Yep.
But we'll figure it out, or we won't. One way or the other, we'll learn and we'll move on. But hopefully next show we'll start off by me hosting, and BrotherLeb will boot up his VR and everything last minute, and we'll see how that works.
Yep. I really hope it does.
Alright, folks. We'll see you later. Bye.